Okay, so before any of you run screaming, I'll promise if you have had any bad experience with Perl, this is not the same language. Because I know many people go off screaming when they hear Perl, because from a glue language for the shell, it turned into something that was only used for one-liners and gray beards. But this is not your first Perl, and this is a very different language. So it's a giant melting pot of good ideas, and here I'm gonna showcase how you can write scripts in Perl 6 and script that scale, and by scale I mean code, not how many times you use it. So the features we'll use to write the scripts will be first subsets, so you can think like add as subtypes, multi-methods like command list or closures, and main, which is not quite like C. So the first feature we'll use is entailed by the fact that Perl 6 has Gradle typing, which is kind of making its way to many other scripting languages nowadays. So if you set a type to one of your variables, it will be checked sometimes at compile time, if possible, but at least it will always be checked at runtime. And various types, we can create subtypes, and I don't mean the object-oriented version of subtypes, I mean constraint types. So here we can say we have a subset file of string when converted to an IO object, so a file exists, and then we can use the tilde wiggle operator to check that a file exists or doesn't exist. And for a Perl script, that might entail, for example, parsing a config file and ignoring any file that starts with a hash, because those are comments and we don't care about comments. We also use signatures, so multi-methods. First off, signatures. We can have like pretty much any language nowadays, Python, Ruby, and all, named arguments, types arguments that are coming in maybe Ruby 3, Python 3.6, or MyPy, or anything like this, or even coursing arguments, so you don't want to write yourself the code to go from a string to an integer, and you can just ask Perl 6 to do it for you. And for multi-methods themselves, you just have to use the multi keyword, and you'll be able to add as many overloads to your function as you want. So the printme subroutine has first candidate for int and a second candidate for a string. And it will be checked if you pass anything else than those two. That will end up in an error. Sometimes a compile time error if you have all your times as compile times. You can also do literal overloading. So SRI takes either 0, 1, or any scalar value. Perl 6 still has Perl sigil, so the dollar mean a single value. And all those features can work together. So again, a file is a string that when converted to an IO object exists. And we can say that the read file function only takes a file, and every time we'll call this function, Perl 6 will check that this file does exist, and you'll be able to call it. You can also write it explicitly with a where clause, so a string f, which matches the file precondition. Again, if we want to parse a config file, we can say a comment is a string that starts with a £, and handle line for a comment will just discard it because we don't want to print it, and handle line for a string will actually print the line if it doesn't match a comment. And we can map every single line of our file via this function to only print the relevant lines for us. Now let's get to writing the script. Our entry point will be main, which has a built-in command line parser. You don't have to do everything yourself or use opt parse or any weird libraries like that. So if you say sub main, that's in all caps main, Perl 6 will automatically generate your help message as well as fill your arguments. And you can use all the features we saw previously, like types, to get type checking for free, multi-methods to get a main program with 2 candidates, add documentation, because Perl 6 has runtime introspectable documentation, which gives us a very much better help message. If we have 2 candidates with the same name of a variable, we can now see directly which candidate will be used, and we don't have to write the help message by ourselves. We can also use the literal overloading, sorry, to get a simple script that has a switch on the first argument, and POSIX will display it in the help message, just like you want it. So that's basically it. Hopefully consider it. There are many, many different things to POSIX, grammar, meta-object protocol, and a lot of very, very complex features that I'm not getting into. I just want to tell you that it's a very good language just to write a script to start with. Thank you very much.